The second half of the Italian First Division season starts today. And for the second-place team in the table, there's ground to be gained. Juventus currently stand 3 points behind Milan. And now they must take on Fiorentina and their colourful supporters. Juventus began their tilt at the title with a home win over Fiorentina. But it was a narrow one. D'Agostini. Yes! The power in the air of Casiraghi brings Juventus their first goal of the season. Luigi D'Agostini, who set up that goal for Casiraghi back in September, is unable to take his regular place today. His trusty left foot is damaged, and his job passes to the versatile Giancarlo Marocchi, who wears the number 3. Otherwise, it's very much Giovanni Trapattoni's regular team, with so much spotlight on Roberto Baggio, who began his career here with Fiorentina and still retains a great affection for the club. Baggio under the microscope again, as he was in this fixture last year when he declined to take a penalty for Juventus, giving the responsibility to D'Agostini. The kick was saved and Fiorentina beat Juventus by a 0-0. Today's Fiorentina side has goalkeeper Maraggini fit again, but the defence is struck down by suspensions for Pioli and Dell'Olio. Fiondella and Salvatore come back into the side. There have been doubts all week about the midfield player Iachini, who's been suffering with flu. Very important for Fiorentina that he has recovered, because he's expected to dog the footsteps of Baggio. Our commentary team in the Stadio Comunale in Florence this afternoon: Trevor Francis, the former Sampdoria and Atalanta star, now manager of Sheffield Wednesday, and Peter Brackley.
So Fiorentina it is who get us underway on this sunny but blustery afternoon in Florence, with the memories still lingering from the UEFA Cup final confrontation of 2 years ago. Security has been stepped up today in a bid to erase any possible hostility. It's a tense atmosphere, though, and Juve's championship aspirations are on the line in Florence against a team rather anxious to ease their own problems near the other end of the table. And in fact, the referee deciding that the game has to be restarted here. And there was a delay before the kickoff. So many streamers being thrown onto the field and being blown just about everywhere, so the debris had to be cleared before the match could get underway. The temperature around 12 degrees, and I would think this wind is going to cause a problem or two. Throw to, or free kick in fact given to Fiorentina, whose form has been better at home than it has been on their travels. So it'll certainly be a strong test here for Juventus this afternoon. Juventus with just 2 defeats in the league so far. Fiorentina with just the one outright striker in Batistuta. This is Dunga, so influential for them in the midfield, and the captain of Fiorentina. Juventus on the defensive here. This is Casiraghi, getting jeered and whistled by the Fiorentina fans. And that results from the rather untidy scuffle that occurred in the first match back on the opening day of the season, when Casiraghi was involved with goalkeeper Maraggini at the end of the first half.
Well, quite clearly it's a very hostile atmosphere here in Florence today, and I think this man in your picture here is going to play a big part in this game. He's already shown the yellow card. I think that he wants to stop.
Salvatore, the first player then to be cautioned in this game, and we've only been playing a couple of minutes. The referee is Arcangelo Pezzella, and he's got a tough job on today. There's a fierce rivalry between the two teams. In goes Reuter. There's a useful cross in too. And over the bar from Alessio.
I think it took a slight deflection.
It's hard to tell, actually. The wind is so strong. Let's look at this again. And, well, yes, it did seem to nick a defender on the way. This is Maialaro. And he and Orlando have been named in the same starting 11 for the first time in some while. Coach Radici normally prefers to leave one of them on the bench. Rather similar players, both very talented players. Free kick to Fiorentina. Another yellow card. So he's having his work cut out early on. Here's referee Pezzella.
It's quite obvious that the referee is trying to stamp his authority on the game from the first minute, but I think that really didn't warrant a booking. Straightforward sort of challenge from Gallia.
Dunga trying to chip it in.
Yes, I was interested to see where Gallia was going to play today, because with the loss of D'Agostini, Juventus do lose a little bit of balance on the left-hand side, and I felt that perhaps Gallia would play in that role, but at the moment he doesn't appear to be playing there, playing his more accustomed role in midfield.
Yes, a big blow to lose D'Agostini for Juventus. There was also a doubt about Cola, but he's come through a fitness test. Shot there was from Iachini. So plenty of determination being shown here by Fiorentina in the early stages. In by Orlando. And the header, and there's no flag, is there? The goal's been given. Batistuta. Everybody turned across to the linesman, but there was no flag for offside. And the goal stands. So wild celebrations among the Fiorentina fans. Batistuta with a free header at the end. But Trevor Francis, he did look suspiciously offside, to say the least.
Yes, Karabi played a hopeful sort of ball into the box. Juventus are looking for the offside. The linesman doesn't put his flag up. That's a tremendous start for Fiorentina.
So a tremendous start for Fiorentina. Juventus, the team in second place, are trailing by a goal to nil. Batistuta with his fourth goal of the season, the Argentine international, and a real problem then for Trapattoni to contend with. Rocky with Batistuta. Batistuta, who's keeping Borgonovo out of the Fiorentina lineup. Now Carrera. Julio Cesar. The layoff from Schillaci to Carrera. Casiraghi. Now can Reuter get his cross in from here? Not with Karabi closing him down so quickly. Chasing, of course, their 23rd Italian title. But still with ground to make up on Milan, the pacemakers. Carrera, tempting cross in, and just flick wide then. Schillaci, I think it was, who made the contact. Julio Cesar. Alessio. Free kick to Fiorentina, so the danger passes.
Well, that was a good chance for Schillaci. Lovely ball played into the near post. Schillaci got in front of Maragini and should have done better. Didn't really make enough contact with the ball with his head. And the chance went.
It was certainly a let-off for Fiorentina. Good jump by Julio Cesar. Now Dunga pulling all the strings in midfield for Fiorentina. Very nearly sending Karabi away then. Shows such intelligent distribution, Dunga. The Florence crowd in great heart here. Good voice too, really making themselves heard around the stadium. There's Julio Cesar, tough and uncompromising defender. And has Marocchi kept that one in play? I don't think so.
This is a very, very big crowd here today in Florence. I think that wherever Juventus go, there's always tremendous interest. They are the equivalent of Manchester United in this country. They attract thousands. They've got a fantastic name throughout Italy. There's a full house here today in Florence with tremendous atmosphere.
There's around 45,000 in the stadium. Covering tackle was from Carrera. There's Reuter, Gallia. He's given it away though to Dunga. And a chance again for Batistuta. And this time the flag is up for offside. But he was almost in again then, Batistuta. Very alert to the possibility after Orlando had won the ball. And you can see from Orlando's reaction there, the flag had already gone up.
Yes, once again, as a result of poor Juventus defending. It was Carrera who was caught in possession by good pressing from Orlando. The ball went to Batistuta, and this time the linesman was much more alert and got his flag up straight away.
And the free kick, I think, has been given. Indeed it has. Baggio, as ever, will oversee the operation. So another examination here of the Fiorentina defence. Called over by Baggio. Header away wasn't too effective. I think there was a hand up then from Alessio, and he didn't make contact anyway. This is Salvatore. Goes Iacchini, losing out though. Baggio. Now Reuter. Iacchini though snapping back into the tackle. Dunga for Fiorentina. Now Alessio. A lot more fluency about the game at the moment. I think there was a suggestion early on, Trevor, that it might have got out of hand with some of the early tackles that were flying in.
Yes, I don't think the crowd helped, did they? It was very, very hostile the first few minutes, and they were looking for trouble, weren't they, at the start of the game? And every time that Juventus player went in to try and tackle, they were looking for the referee to bring out the yellow card. He obliged on a couple of occasions, but it has settled down now.
Julio Cesar to Marocchi. Now Baggio setting himself up. Goalkeeper's lost it, Schillaci. Well, he was lurking, he was hoping, but nothing came his way. Maraggini just about managed to hold on at the second attempt. Foul on Casiraghi. Alessio. This is Schillaci. Down goes Orlando. No free kick given though. Now there'll have to be one.
Yes, once again it's Facenda. Certainly a battle between him and Casiraghi. Very tough character, Facenda. Come across him once or twice in local derbies between Sampdoria and when he played at Genoa.
Yes, you'd not want to meet him in a dark alley. Well, he met Casiraghi there, illegally, and it's, well, dicing with danger, certainly, to present free kicks to Juventus in that kind of position with the likes of Baggio around. As Mataggini will well know. So he'll hope the covering ahead of him is right. Baggio, great save. Casiraghi couldn't get in there, and the chance has gone. Superb goalkeeping then by Mataggini to beat away the shot from Baggio. Here's Baggio again. Iachini with him. I did just wonder there, Trevor, whether, I think it was Casiraghi going in, was pulled back. We'll see again from the replay.
Yes, I thought that myself, actually. He seemed to be pulled back, but it was certainly a good save from Mataggini. Well-struck shot from Baggio.
And here's the break now for Fiorentina. No, the referee bringing play back. But without question, Mataggini has preserved Fiorentina's lead in this first half. Alessio. Handball, surely then by Reuter. A Brazilian, a German and an Italian try to sort it out. And the outcome is a free kick to Fiorentina. Fabulous atmosphere in the stadium. And it's looking now as if Fiorentina are going to go in with, albeit a slender lead, unless Juventus can create something here right at the end of the first 45 minutes. Reuter skipping one tackle. Here's Marocchi. Baggio, clever flick off. Gallia. Julio Cesar. Dunga with the interception. And there's nobody upfield for Fiorentina apart from Batistuta. Jürgen Kohler on his mettle. So we've had now almost 2 minutes of time added on. But there is the final whistle to end the first half, and a very eventful one it's been too. A controversial start with a goal after 7 minutes from Batistuta, which Juventus clearly felt was offside. One or two other chances too for Fiorentina, but some great goalkeeping from Mataggini to keep out Juventus. Plenty to play for in the second half. Join us again. It's Fiorentina 1, Juventus 0. So welcome back to the Commentator Stadium in Florence, as Juventus then start the second half. Trailing by a goal to nil, but they certainly had their opportunities in the first 45 minutes. And I would think will consider themselves a little unlucky to be a goal down. Certainly a controversial one, which will need some studying, I think, to sort out whether it was offside or not. But it certainly stands in the record books, and Juventus have a lot to do in this second half. Carrera. Now here goes Casiraghi. And I think a bit of a misunderstanding there, maybe between linesman and referee. I didn't quite see what happened, but Fiorentina was suddenly back in possession.
Yes, it appeared that Casiraghi's shirt was pulled back by Facenda, but the referee didn't give the free kick.
Well, Casiraghi certainly felt there was an offence. Julio Cesar, who's often come forward for Juventus in this game. Casiraghi couldn't turn quickly enough. Alessio appealing, and indeed it is a Juventus free kick.
Good positive start from Juventus at the start of the second half. They didn't do too badly in the first half. One or two good chances, one from Schillaci at the near post, and just before half-time I felt that Baggio was in a good opportunity from the free kick. Good save from the keeper Marigiana.
Here's Gallia, who's often popped up with some useful goals for Juventus in recent years, including a very important one against Fiorentina in the UEFA Cup final, one of the two legs there. Now, is that a corner? The referee says yes. Good, strong, positive running then by Maialaro. And despite the complaints of the Juventus defenders, the referee has given the corner. Maialaro will take it. Four in the box now for Fiorentina, but it was a poor corner. Alessio, and he was impeded, so free kick to Juventus.
Yes, 4 Fiorentina attackers in the box and 8 Juventus defenders. I think it's slightly favoured Juventus there.
And off come Juventus once more with Marocchi. Schillaci trying to shake off Fiondella.
That was good play from Schillaci. Been a good run down the channel there. Turned his marker Fiondella. Was pulled back.
Now, there's a change being made by Juventus. And it is Di Canio who's going to come on, and Marocchi who's going off. Marocchi who's slotted into D'Agostini's role on the left side. Without, it has to be said, a great deal of success. So Di Canio is now on. And we'll see just where he fits in a moment. There's Baggio's free kick. Isn't cleared too effectively, though, by Fiorentina. Jurgen Kohler with the header. And eventually cleared by Facenda. This is Batistuta with Reuter. There's no flag. Maialaro. Perfectly timed tackle, though, by Jurgen Kohler. By Carrera, rather.
They don't come more important than that. He was the last man defence. It was a life-saving tackle for Juventus.
That could so easily have been a second goal if Carrera had mistimed that one. Now Alessio, who's switched then to the left. Crunching tackle by Dunga. Alessio still got his cross in. And it's well wide from Baggio. Away by Gallia. And in the last few minutes, Fiorentina beginning to enjoy a little more of the play. So maybe they're not just content to sit back on the one goal.
Yes, I think that's come about since Marocchi went off, because Trapattoni has made a positive move by bringing on Di Canio. But of course they are left a little bit open now in midfield. Baggio pushing forward with Schillaci and Casiraghi. Alessio Di Canio on the flanks. It's a very, very adventurous approach by Trapattoni.
There's Dunga with the shot. And he can be lethal from long range, Carlos Dunga, the Brazilian. But he was a long, long way out then. And it was no test for Tacconi. Schillaci appealing for handball. And cannot believe that the referee has not given it. And he looks so menacing when he glares at you, Schillaci. Wasn't too happy about that decision at all. Julio Cesar. Di Canio. Now Reuter. Casiraghi. Blocked by Karabi. And towards Casiraghi, who turned sharply. And that was pretty close into an own goal from Foggia. Steering it past his own goalkeeper, Maragini, but safely away for the corner.
They're just searching for that break on the Juventus. They're getting plenty of balls now in the penalty box. Plenty of players in there. Baggio's getting forward, as I say, to support Schillaci and Casiraghi. They're just looking for that little bit of luck. It's going to bring them the equaliser.
Yes, they haven't had that many chances, but enough to have got themselves back on level terms, certainly. Dunga now, hoping to spring Fiorentina into the attack. Carrera. Here's Iachini. Neat layoff fed by Orlando. And the free kick given to Fiorentina for the foul on Karabi. Stefan Karabi, the former Milan player. Just a fringe player, really, at the San Siro. Now, here's Schillaci. Tumbled, though, by Salvatore. Reuter with the free kick. Baggio. Iachini inevitably was there, and this time fouls him. It's been a fascinating duel between the two. The skill and flair of Baggio and the persistence of Iachini. And there it is in evidence again. And he's penalised once more. He felt he was being tugged back. The referee favours Baggio.
So many fouls at the moment, Peter, that you just get the feeling that if Juventus could get inside that penalty box, the referee may just give them a penalty, because they've not had too many decisions go their way this afternoon.
Here's Schillaci. Didn't really link up well, though, with Alessio. Now Baggio. Well, it was a fearsome challenge by Salvatore. In fairness, Baggio was straight back on his feet again. But clearly a free kick, which Baggio himself is trying to take. Again, Iachini doesn't want to retreat the necessary yards, meters, so it's a yellow card for him.
That's good refereeing, because he's continually done that all afternoon, preventing Baggio from taking the free kick. No more than 2 yards off the ball. I'm surprised, actually, that he's allowed it to go on as long as he has done.
I wonder if he followed him into the dressing room at half-time. He's not left his side. Alzinho. Now Orlando is going off. And Marzinho, the Brazilian international, comes on. Fiandella. Well, I would think a tactical switch. I didn't notice any injury there to Orlando, who has certainly had his moments in this game. Marzinho, another player with undoubted vision and attacking flair too, a very positive player. Di Canio completely overhitting his pass. And a bit of frustration beginning to creep in now among the Juventus players in their efforts to find a way through. Maialaro is going to come off. He was injured a few minutes ago. There he is. And I think it was Brackley they were trying to bring on. Indeed it is, the former Sampdoria player. He's had a fair game, Trevor, Maialaro.
Yes, technically he's very, very gifted. I think he took a nasty bang on his head, actually. That's the reason why he's coming off. And the Fiorentina supporters weren't too pleased because the Juventus players decided not to put the ball out for a throw-in.
Yes, play continued for some time before, in fact, I think it was Belushi cleared the ball into touch, one of the Fiorentina players. But Maialaro didn't make a full recovery, so he's now gone off, and Brackley, who's the striker, has come on.
Yes, he was involved in a swap deal at the end of last season, or during the summer break, swapping with Busso, who was with Fiorentina last year. No, very much a Sampdoria player.
Of course, opportunities restricted at Sampdoria with Vialli and Mancini, the first choice combination up front. The tackle then by Cola. But you begin to wonder now if it is not going to be Juventus's day. Certainly the Fiorentina fans don't think it is. Batistuta, scorer of the only goal so far. Now, did that come off Jurgen Kohler? I felt it did. So did the linesman. So a corner to Fiorentina. Which they're in no hurry whatsoever to take. And Trapattoni may be seeing his team here sinking to a third defeat. Another goal for Fiorentina would surely clinch it. That was Salvatore's shot. In goes Iachini. Away by Reuter. Foul by Marzinho. Reuter now. Here's Di Canio with Alessio. The 18th foul given against Fiorentina defenders. Iachini this time on Baggio. It goes without saying.
An interesting statistic just to see how many fouls have actually been committed on Baggio this afternoon.
He's had no chance at all to turn. Every time he's collected the ball, Iachini has been there. In fairness to Iachini, he's made some legal challenges as well. There's Baggio now, whipping in the free kick. Casiraghi and Cola were there. And again, Maragini this time, I think he was caught in two minds. He started to come for it, and then thought better of it.
I think Casiraghi realises that could be the last chance for him this afternoon. That was a good chance. Got above the Fiorentina defence and really should have done better with that opportunity.
Now, Brackley. It's got Salvatore in the middle. And support was arriving too in the shape of Batistuta. And this will squander a few more seconds now. Marzinho to take the throw. And the singing of the Fiorentina fans getting louder and louder now as they sense victory.
It's hard to believe, actually. They're just playing for 2 points. It's more like a semi-final of a FA Cup in England, isn't it?
Well, any victory over Juventus from any side in Italy is a momentous occasion. They don't lose too often. Certainly under Trapattoni, anyway. And as Trevor was saying, they're pretty anxious for points too, Fiorentina, to ease their plight down near the wrong end of the table. Dunga with the free kick, and it's there! Brackley! Loaded in by Dunga. Branco was on the end of it. And again, a lack of concentration at the back from Juventus, who are complaining once more that they lost Branco then. Now, well, the referee leading the players, including Tacconi, away from the linesman.
I think he's disallowed it, Peter, because it was indirect, and what Juventus are pointing out is that Branco never touched the ball. It went indirect from Dunga.
That appears to be the decision. Whether Branco got a touch or not, it was hard to see, but here's Batistuta now. This could settle it. Good save, though, by Tacconi, who somehow got a hand to it. The real controversy now and drama in the closing stages. Should that goal have been allowed to stand? Well, there was a lot of confusion around the ground, I must say. Off goes Julio Cesar. Fiorentina most aggrieved that the goal was not given. But if it was indirect and Branco didn't get a touch, the referee, of course, was absolutely right. I don't know what you felt there, Trevor. It was certainly hard to see whether Branco got a touch or not.
Well, I would think that Radici, the Fiorentina coach, would be very, very disappointed with Branco because he should have got a touch.
Dunga's free kick. Only a couple of minutes to go now. Cola. Maybe it won't matter anyway if Fiorentina can hold on. Dunga pumping it forward.
It was a perfectly flighted free kick from Dunga, straight onto the head of Branco. My feeling was that he didn't touch the ball.
Well, he certainly wheeled away in triumph. But did he make a decisive contact? Salvatore. A clash between Julio Cesar and Batistuta. But unless they can turn it round now, Juventus are heading for defeat. We're into injury time. They've got players committed upfield now of Juventus, and they might just get caught out. Branco, Tacconi's lost it, and it's there this time. Branco has scored, and there's no dispute about this one. The substitute has done it. It's 2-0 to Fiorentina, and that's it now, surely.
That was finishing from Branco of the highest quality. Superb finish.
I thought Tacconi had won the day, but Branco, his persistence paid off. Lovely skill there. And how about this then for a finish? Julio Cesar. Dunga kicking the ball at Casiraghi. That's going to earn him a caution. And it was very unnecessary too. Dunga certainly kicked the ball at Casiraghi while he was down on the ground. We're deep into injury time. Well, wasn't that far over, but far enough. It certainly seemed for a spell in this second half that Juventus would eventually get back on level terms. But a fighting finale from Fiorentina has changed all that. We've had now 3 minutes of time added on for stoppages. And there it is, the final whistle. And Fiorentina have beaten Juventus. I don't think the players, some of them realise that it has stopped. Well, Batistuta turns it in, but that won't count. The game finished 20 seconds ago, sir. What a day, though, for Fiorentina. Batistuta with the first goal early on in the game, a goal hotly disputed by Juventus, and then the second right at the death from Branca, who thought he'd scored just before that, or maybe Dunga thought that he had. But that one was disallowed. The last strike from Branca was allowed to stand, and Fiorentina have stopped Juventus in their stride here. The final score, Fiorentina 2, Juventus 0.
Not for the last time this season, I'm sure, Milan take pride of place in our roundup. Top against bottom, Ascoli under caretaker management after the sacking of their coach De Sisti. Marco Simone, a lively deputy for Marco van Basten, who was stricken with flu. 1-0 after 7 minutes. Ascoli relying heavily on goalkeeper Lodieri, who deprived Donadoni of a second, and then was relieved as Simone's acrobatic attempt rose just too high. The second goal for Milan arrived with an air of inevitability. With 35 minutes gone, an untidy episode really. Albertini mishitting his shot, but Paolo Maldini changing the flight of the ball very effectively. Ascoli could complain of bad luck here, Pedro Troglio's clever free kick, but that was cancelled out when Milan, through Donadoni and a deflection, found the frame of the other goal. Then the toughest defence in the division was pierced. Fiorenzo Dianzara, 4 days past his 19th birthday, with a suitable cause for celebration. Dianzara darting through again. But Ascoli were put back in their place by Frank Rijkaard. 3-1 to Milan on the hour. Simone in particular striving to keep his place, his header cleared off the line, and then he served up on a plate Milan's fourth for Albertini. There could have been several more. Aldo Serena so close here. His appearance as a substitute, another indication of the depth in Milan's squad. They did miss Van Basten for his penalty-taking ability. A horrible miss by Franco Baresi, but Milan could easily afford it. Lazio, the latest challengers to Parma's unbeaten home record, not the place for a defensive disaster like this one. Begodi hesitating, and Lazio lost because of it. Thomas Brolin scarcely able to believe his good fortune. Brolin bursting through again in the second half. Parma still holding on to their 1-goal lead, and then their Brazilian goalkeeper Taparel, in injury time, was ruled to have brought down Ruben Sosa. The two face-to-face at the penalty, but Sosa's kick comes out of the post, and Taparel, smothered in congratulations, perhaps because of his reputation as a saver of penalties, had spoilt Ruben Sosa's aim. Inter's first match under their new coach, Luis Suarez, who was in charge of Spain in the last World Cup. It was very eventful too. Codisporti clashing with Berti, a penalty for Inter, put away by Lothar Matthäus. But right on half-time, the Foggia goalkeeper Mancini was sent off, deliberate handball. Berti again, the Inter player involved. Walter Zenga, full of consolation. Foggia's reserve goalkeeper Rossin was brought on in place of Rambaudi, but soon beaten by Jürgen Klinsmann. But Foggia are real fighters. They survived Berti's chip. 2 down, remember, only 7 minutes to go, and Kolivanov earned them a penalty. Baiano converted it for his first goal since mid-November. And then amazingly, Petrescu equalised for the 10 men with only 4 minutes to go. A marvellous comeback from Foggia, a crash course for Suarez on the problems he's inherited. The future has been looking brighter for Bari. 2 wins in their last 3 games, and in Turin they gave Torino goalkeeper Marchegiani the chance to show why he's Italy's second choice at the moment. David Platt defied in the second half. Enzo Schifo and Martin Vasquez almost broke down Bari's resistance here, making this chance for Pasquale Bruno. Alberga making an important save. One talking point, Pollicano charging down Alberga's clearance and claiming that he was far enough away not to have fouled the goalkeeper. The referee thought otherwise and took further action at Pollicano's protest. But the major topic for post-match discussion came with 4 minutes to go. Bari edging towards another much-needed point. Martin Vasquez and Venturin involved in the move, and then Cravero's shot, which counted to win the match for Torino, even though Pollicano was clearly in an offside position. In fact, he had to move smartly to make sure he didn't stop the ball going in. It was all very hard for Bari to take. Four straight wins for Sampdoria, and looking for revenge against Cagliari here, who surprised the champions back on the opening day of the season. And more surprises, Firicano's flick knocked in by Napoli. Cagliari with a good record on this ground. That was protected by Yelpo with a great save from Bjerkevud. A set piece brought Sampdoria level in the second half. Sreko Katanec soaring to meet Ivano Bonetti's corner. Sampdoria turned on the style after that. Mancini and Vialli, still a delightful double act. This would have been a marvellous goal. Cagliari still carrying a threat of their own. Mobley with this volley. And he was the victim in a most unsavoury episode towards the end of the game. A second bookable offence for Vialli, who saw red in more ways than one. And after being sent off, he turned his anger on Cagliari's coach, Carlo Mazzoni. The Italian authorities are sure to take extra action for that outburst. Genoa have gone off the boil recently, but they were expecting to put some fire back into their football at nearby Cremona. Eranio trying to set the tempo and so nearly opening the scoring. Cremonese, second from bottom and betraying their uncertainty again here, but surviving. And in the Argentinian Gustavo De Zotti, they do have a talented, if somewhat temperamental forward. It was to be De Zotti's day. Particularly when Gualco pushed Carlos Aguilera, and the normally reliable Uruguayan was outwitted by goalkeeper Rampula from the penalty. A second sharply taken goal by De Zotti delivered in the first minute of the second half, and Cremonese with a rare spring in their step now. De Zotti down to Maspero, almost a third. Genoa got going again here. Aguilera to Scuravi, 2-1. And Cremonese seemed certain to be caught out again. But first from Torrente and then Ruotolo, Rampula rode out the storm. And Cremonese collected their second win of the season. But Genoa, 3 defeats now in a row. Roma were beaten at Bari last week. Their eyes really on their European involvement, which starts again in March. Thomas Hessler's free kick just wide, with Verona soon on the defensive. Rudi Voller the problem for them this time, only the post preventing the opening goal. It arrived contentiously after 35 minutes. Voller offside before the ball was deflected by a defender. Play on, said the referee, and Andrea Carnevali did the rest for Roma. Every goal especially sweet for him after that one-year suspension. Verona still cautious in the second half. Carbone trying to give Roma the cushion of a second goal. They took a goal line clearance by Giannini from Davide Pellegrini to prevent Roma's afternoon being ruined. Voller, though, typically continued his quest for goals until the final whistle, which confirmed a 1-0 win for Roma. Finally to Bergamo, where Atalanta were looking to counter a 1-0 defeat in Naples at the start of the season, but it was Napoli who took command. Classy play by Careca, Andrea Silenzi scoring for the second Sunday in succession. And he almost added to that from Crippa's corner, Perron just flicking the header out of harm's way. Into the second half, and a real error of judgment by the French international Laurent Blanc, not spotting Claudio Canicchia as he tried to shepherd Tarantino's back past the goalkeeper Giovanni Galli. Galli crashing into the Argentinian, a penalty put away by Bianchesi, 1-1. Galli could have been sent off for that foul. Napoli very glad that he wasn't. An excellent save here from Canicchia. Well, let's look first of all at the bottom of the table, where Cremonese have climbed back above Bari, and Cagliari, who escaped so dramatically last season, have moved to within 1 point of Verona. Not looking too good for Genoa, who've now gone 5 games without a win. Lazio's self-inflicted defeat at Parma has lost them ground in the top half of the table, but the significant story of the day, the failure of Juventus in Florence, only their third defeat of the season, but now Milan have a 5-point margin to savour. Juventus couldn't recover from allowing Gabriel Batistuta to beat their defence after only 7 minutes. They were chasing the game from then on, and they couldn't catch it. Milan are also becoming a more and more elusive target, and no one knows that better than Trapattoni's team.